The spray can is available to everyone, probably in your house. I think the thing about spray paint is it's the easiest, in a way, it's the easiest thing to do. It's the closest thing to drawing. If you want to do it, you just do it. The tool is only as good as your ambition to use it. It's only as good as the problem you set out to solve with it. Once I found that tool, I immediately saw the problem that I was now going to paint outside and I was going to paint big, and that was the way to do it. My name is Dan Thompson. I'm a painter, an illustrator, a muralist, and I work with a group called Fab Crew. There are two of us, and we're known for a lot of public art. When I was in high school, I would take a week off from my job, unpaid, so that I could go spend all my money and go climb under a bridge and go do a 50-foot mural. There was nothing that, as a like hard-headed, just super like misanthropic, disengaged teenager, nothing else held my attention, and that just seemed cool because now we can run around and kind of stay out and have a purpose. As an adult, the more people questioned it and thought it was bizarre, the more I just wanted to do 10 more of them. When I do walls, I mean, even when you think about graffiti or lettering, if I'm doing lettering or if I'm doing something that's like a typography piece for myself, it's not about a letter at all, really, to me. It's a shape. They're all shapes. It's a little piece of real estate. This one might have stripes, and this one might be melting. And at the end of the day, it's just an illustration. I know that I've got creativity and I've got an ability to solve problems. I work really well in a team, and that stuff is what has kept me in a position to have opportunities to be creative. There's a lot of stuff I do that doesn't require any pre-planning. My favorite kind of painting is completely freestyle, meaning I start with nothing in mind, and I just put some dots on the page or some strokes, and then I look and go, what do I think that looks like to me now? Or how do I make this thing that's just a flat blob? How do I add 3 colors to it, a little bit of spray and a couple of brush strokes to make it now feel like something without it being anything? When it comes to murals, they're not all planned, but more often than not, when the stakes get higher, you really have to set yourself up for success. So when you're doing a wall that's 80 feet long and 15 feet high, whether you're getting paid for it or not, if you do that wrong, that's a huge swing and a miss. And it's just a serious fail, and it's obvious. And so you want to do it right. When I was a kid, it was always like I would love to see my name on a bus. And I've been able to paint a couple of buses, like school buses or whatever over the years. But to paint a city bus would be like the crown jewel. The first time you see that, like, yes, to drive by your work and see it is crazy. But most of my murals in public art, you have to know where they are to see them. These buses come to you. And that's the craziest part. And as a person who's has been for a few years a sometimes bus passenger, it's the craziest thing in the world to be waiting for the bus and see your baby that you made roll up to pick you up. There's so much you can learn. Art is a doorway to every kind of information. There's a very real need for art and a very real attachment that art has to every kind of information. So if you're curious, I mean, it's hard to explain, but if you don't think you're an artist and you don't believe that's your destiny, the only way to do it, the only reason to do it is because you enjoy it. If you ever were satisfied and you ever got what you wanted, you would just quit. You have to fail and continue doing it. Being able to work and get paid for my skills, I don't know that there's any way you can keep doing it if you didn't do it, because it just takes too much. If you want anything in life, you have to work. And if you can't get paid for what you like to do, you're going to do what you get paid for. I think it's just human nature. And I'll be the first one to tell you, I enjoy it for free. I make my living as a painter. But the only time I walk away and I'm really happy is when I'm not getting paid anything, when I'm coming out of pocket. that's when the work is best for me.
The next artist we're going to get to meet is Jeff Zimmerman. Jeff is an incredible painter who works on an enormous scale. Let's get inside and meet him.
My name is Jeff Zimmerman. I'm an artist. I'm from Chicago. People know me as the mural guy. There's a secret, and the secret is that large-scale work is easier to paint. Now, I wouldn't give this up to most people, but we'll let the youngsters out there get ahead of the game. I was teaching an art class and doing some drawing, but a lot of popsicle sticks and googly eyes that I'd never painted before. And I bumped into the pastor of the local church, and he said, "You're the art teacher. I can't find anyone to paint this big mural for me. Can you do it?" And I said, "Yes." And I had never painted before, so I took a quick painting class and showed up in the spring and painted a mural, first thing I ever painted, and it turned out well. And when I was done with that project, I said, heck, I'm going to try and become a full-time artist. I had done something that the neighborhood and the regular people on the street could see and appreciate and thought was, edifying to the community. And, that was it. That was a fun thing to do with all those other reasons, and I said, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to start painting murals wherever I can and painting paintings in my studio and teach myself how to paint while at the same time. And
What was the process of creating this piece?
well, this is actually, I would call, not an abstract piece at all, a realistic piece. What you see as abstraction over here is me just figuring out my colors. So this is my palette away from the area where I'm working. So you can tell that here, somewhere around here, I was trying to find maybe that color.
Oh, yeah.
These darker colors are probably up there, the oranges. So this is where I've been mixing the color and then applying it right here. I can tell how difficult the painting was, me, by looking at how much mess there is next to the painting. Because that means I was spending a lot of time trying to figure out the right colors. When there's just a little, it means it all just kind of happened and I was in the zone. That guy over there is more about illusionism, where it looks like a picture. This is less, it looks like a picture, and more about, no, this is exactly the paint stroke I made. So this is about color and having fun painting. It is a painting. Paint drips.
Yeah.
Leave it. It's okay. I think that everyone is secretly creative, whether they're aware of it or not. There's lots of people that say, oh, I'm not creative, I couldn't do that, but then you'll catch them doodling, or you'll catch them singing a little song, or I don't know, there's all sorts of examples that everyone is creative throughout their day by themselves. Without that, you're less of a round person, We have to have our intellectual, cerebral side, but we need our creative side as well, because we're people, and we are round, we have all those different aspects of us, so the creative element is important no matter what you do. You think, is this working out? I don't know. Maybe that's not so important. What's important is this is your passion. This is what I enjoy doing. So keep after it. Be positive. And, last man standing wins.
Have you ever used spray paint? I've been playing with it a lot lately, and it got me wondering, who invented this stuff? Check this out. Believe it or not, spray paint hasn't been around that long. In 1949, Ed Seymour was looking for a fast and easy way to show customers his aluminum coating for radiators. His wife suggested he use something like an insect sprayer, which was a great idea. Good thing he listened to his wife. Taking that creative idea, Ed made his own spray paint gun. Once he realized how efficient it was, he decided to start using it all the time. He borrowed money from a local bank and started making a ton of spray paint cans. Ed liked how easy and quick this spray painting was. The paint dried fast while leaving a nice finish on the radiators. Ed immediately started his company, Seymour Sycamore, which you have to appreciate the name. It's definitely catchy, Ed. Seymour Sycamore took off and even added automotive and industrial divisions to touch up and refinish cars and industrial machines. Household names like Krylon and Rust-Oleum started catching on to Ed's idea and created their own spray paint. By 1973, 270 million cans were produced annually. Guess how many were produced in 2011? 412 million cans. That's crazy, right? By the 60s and 70s, spray paint wasn't just popular for commercial use. People liked the fact that spray paint was easy to use, dried quickly, and was permanent. These same features also interested activists who could easily conceal the cans in a bag or a jacket, then use the paint to put graffiti on buildings and make public protests. As you can imagine, laws were soon made to ban the use of spray paint to vandalize public property. The big name companies even refused to upgrade their nozzles and colors because they didn't want to aid vandalism. But the love of spray continued, and spray painting developed into the art form we know today. Through the years, graffiti and mural art have gained more and more respect. Spray paint companies now produce many different and elaborate colors for spray paint artists. Artists have their own preferences for the quality and type of spray paint they use. They even have custom tips made for their cans, which I did not know and is really awesome. Have you heard of Banksy? This famous street artist has hidden his identity, but we do know his graffiti in the streets of England, the West Bank Barrier, and New York, which has brought fame and new attention to spray art. Banksy keeps his artwork traditional to the origins of graffiti by painting politically controversial pieces. Banksy's art started as acts of vandalism and developed into highly prized works of art. In fact, actress Angelina Jolie bought a piece of Banksy's called Picnic for close to $230,000. Another popular piece called Keep It Spotless brought in $1.8 million. Maybe I should invest in more spray paint. Fact is, spray paint has become a widely used tool for many street artists, like our friend Dan Thompson.